Walls. Any corrections? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. Takes us to item B, appointments. This month, we have a vacancy on the Jackson County Planning Commission. The current member resigned, so there is no current member. There is one applicant. Her name is Mary Hall. I do not see any other applicants. I would put forth Mary Hall. All in favor of Mary Hall, say aye. All opposed, Mary Hall will be the committee's recommendation. Takes us to item C, Office of the Prosecuting Attorney, full-time employee request.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kelsey.
Wow, that's loud. So we have 3 requests in front of everybody. One is for a chief trial attorney, and 2 are for entry-level assistant prosecuting attorneys. But this request comes through our money we're getting from the state. So you guys are simply the pass-through for that. We created an entire budget for the state. Obviously, we outlined the amount of money for the fiscal year 2025, which we get is a thing already. We were getting $575,038, and then for 2026, we're getting $599,965. We will have 4 years to use that money. We, at this point, know we can hire 3 attorneys for 3 years. That's going to considerably help with our backlog. We've already checked with HR. We've got all the funding for that. We've talked with IT to get all the computers updated. We've got everything that we need for these 3 positions are included in our grant. Desks, facilities, everything. So my request is for those 3 positions contingent on all of that money coming through the state as we are expecting it to do so.
I'll support that as a motion.
Thank you.
Now, question.
Yes.
Do you have the ability to find these people?
Well, that is the $1 million question.
Yeah.
I think the 2 entry-level ones will be okay on. We can get kids right out of law school and train them up. The chief trial attorney is going to be hard, and I'm going to be picky about it. I want to be able to throw some really complicated homicide cases at them, ask them to do a little bit of training for my newer attorneys, get kind of a person in there. My hope is I can find somebody who's retiring from a different county and bring them in, somebody who's looking, for just a second career, if you will. I have a couple names in mind that I've kind of talked to and have slow rolled this a little bit, but that will be the question, is whether I can find an experienced enough person for that chief trial attorney spot.
Thank you. And good
You're
luck.
welcome.
Okay, Commissioner Duckham, was that a question, or were you putting forth a motion?
I was putting forth the motion, sir.
Is there support for Commissioner, and I'll come to you, Commissioner Bear. Is there support first? Support. Okay, Commissioner Bear.
Question, how much, it says this grant, what's the value of this grant?
So for fiscal year 2025, we were awarded $575,038. And for fiscal year 2026, we were awarded $599,965. I could do that math real quick, but I went to law school because that's not my strength, so I would need a calculator. But it's over $1 million, obviously.
So it costs over $1 million over 2 years to hire 3 staff.
3 years for 3 staff. But
3 years?
3 years. Yep, I can do each of them for 3 years. All 3 attorneys for 3 years. But yes, with their benefits and with the facilities and with the laptop, we have to make space for them in our office. We don't have any more office space. All of our office space is up, so we work with facilities about what would it look like to transform an old storage room to kind of get some dividers up there and put desks up there. But yes, our entire grant is almost completely taken up by these 3 positions. And
Okay.
what I can tell you as well, just so everybody knows too, we've been told that this funding is in the ongoing budget. So cross our fingers, our hope is this won't limit us to our 3 years, that we are supposed to be getting it in an ongoing basis. But
So you're hoping in the long term, there'll be more grants?
I am hoping that we've been told it's in the budget now consistently, but at any point, obviously that can change. So
So these are $100,000 a year salaries,
Well, when you include the.
salaries and benefits.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, the trial attorney, the salary alone, to be competitive, needs to be about 130. And then the benefits and the things for that chief trial attorney. I mean, I'm hoping to bring in somebody with the 20 years experience that I need to be able to give a whole bunch of our really complicated cases to.
Okay, thank you for sharing that information.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there any other discussion? If not, if you could please post the vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Takes us to your quarterly report.
Perfect. So I know you guys have an opportunity to view the PowerPoint that we present. You can see where all of our numbers are. We are, thank God, not on pace for where we were last year. We are a little bit lower than that, but still going to be ahead of where we were in 2024, in particular with our authorized warrants and things. So one of the things that I want to highlight for everybody is we have already seen an uptick in our jury trials this year, and I'm sure if Sierra were here, she could talk a little bit about that as well, if anybody was curious. But we have had an uptick in our jury trials, and in particular our capitals, right? As we've kind of now hit that backlog from so many cases we authorized last year, now we're in the process where we're trying those. So we've really been in court a lot. We've been trying a lot of smaller cases too, just because they're not willing to take responsibility, so we're trying them. So we've had a lot more trials this year. We can see that some of our numbers, in particular, our juvenile numbers, as surprise to nobody, has also increased. And part of that is we seem to have a real violent group of juveniles right now, but the other part of that is we're doing more with what we can do within that system. I guess, let me say it that way. That system is built on rehabilitation, and we are stuck within the constraints of that, or constraints of that. But we are doing what we can do with that. So we can see the major trials that we have upcoming. We can see that we've got a bunch coming up still. And I believe that somebody had asked, I believe it was Commissioner Duckham asked at the last one about completed case results and kind of what those looked like in terms of pleas, trials, resolutions, and so we added that information in for you, sir, so you could have that. So we also gave you some major case outcomes of note in January. We charged 3 individuals with homicide, and those cases are all still pending in circuit court. We charged 1 individual with a delivery causing death. That was for the 2 overdoses that happened outside of the Travelodge. The 3 open murders is the Sheriff's Department's case as well. We have an arson, a first-degree arson, which is a life offense that we've charged. In April, we had a homicide trial, guilty of first-degree murder. We had a plea to a second-degree murder for an 18 to 40 years. CSE convictions, we're cruising right along. So I also noticed as I was looking at other numbers, we reviewed 190 petitions for involuntary hospitalization for mental illness. We are far and away, we do way more of those than a lot of our surrounding counties do, and I'm not sure the reason why. I kind of just stumbled upon that number recently, but we do a lot more of those involuntary mental health hospitalization petitions and reviews than a lot of our areas around us.
Commissioner Duckham.
Looking at the August count, you have 2 open murder, homicide, open murder. There's 2. Then we have delivery of controlled substance causing death. Wouldn't that also be included as a murder?
Yes, but it's not classified as a homicide. It's a different case classification. It is a life offense still. It is a capital offense still. We treat it very similarly. Yes, sir.
So the dealer will start getting hammered when
Yes, sir.
they have been.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was actually a thing under Jerry Jarzinka, that was a lot of, we're really focusing on the dealers. But she's, now been responsible, or at least we will contend that she's responsible for 2
right,
deaths. And
thank
so,
you.
yes, sir. So I know you guys can read it. I don't need to go through it all. If anybody else has any other questions or comments or concerns.
Committee members, any questions? Seeing none, I'd be looking for a motion to receive the report. Moved by Bear, supported by Duckham. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Brings us to the sheriff and the Axon AI plan and Fusus Real-Time Crime Center technology. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning. So you've had this week to look at it, digest it a little bit. So if there's any additional questions,
So I'd like to
have?
just lead off with some feedback that I've got from the community, and I've done my best to explain, but you being the sheriff and having more knowledge than just the presentation that I witnessed, I'd like you to explain what it doesn't do. There's a concern with AI growing that there's going to be drones monitoring people, cameras monitoring people, and you're going to be using that as a way to disrupt the privacy in their lives. And I tried to explain that's not what this is. This is to make more efficient reports using body cam footage. So I just want to give you the opportunity to say not only what it will do, but what it won't do.
okay, yeah, it has nothing to do with drones. It has nothing to do with surveillance or anything like that. Essentially what it is it's an AI-based interpretation of the events that the deputy goes through while he's investigating a crime. So it's really important to understand that everything that we do, we have to write a police report for. And oftentimes those police reports aren't right after the event occurs. So most of the time when we write a police report, it's at the end of the shift when things have kind of settled down and you're getting ready to go home. So just imagine if you went to an incident, it's 8 a.m. right now, and that at 5 p.m. you have to try and regurgitate that incident into a written report. Well, it can be very difficult to do. You can go back and review the video, but of course that takes time. There's a lot that goes into that. What this does for us is it interprets that event immediately. And oftentimes by the time you get back to the car after you've completed that event, the report's written. So it makes it more accurate, it's time-stamped, it includes the AI ability of being able to recognize the people that you're talking to and being able to differentiate between their voices so that we have an accurate recollection of what was said and who said it. And that's a big deal, especially in a criminal investigation when you're trying to get everything right. So that's essentially what the AI platform is. Now, what a lot of people are probably confused with is the Crime Center, how that works. That is strictly a volunteer basis. And essentially what we would be looking to do is in the event there's ever a criminal action, is places that are the victim of a crime would have the ability then to turn over video to us through this AI or Axon platform, and we go and we put it into real-time evidence. As I explained before, the way that we do it right now is when we go to some place that has video, for instance, Buddy's Mini Mart, that may have gotten their video from Amazon or from Home Depot or Sam's Club or whatever the case may be, we can't use that video in the form that it is, in the electronic form that it is. So what we have to do oftentimes is take a phone out and then record it. And it doesn't record it well. It's grainy. There's all sorts of issues that come back on it. And it's really not, a little bit of legalese here, it's really not the best evidence, right? And we have to follow something called the best evidence rule. It's really not. We've been able to get by with that, but it's really not what we're supposed to do. So what we've done with this platform is allowed these places to give us access to that, and then Axon will then convert it into its electronic file and fuse it, if you will, through their fusion system and give us the best evidence. So then when we record it into evidence.com, which is where Axon keeps all their video storage in, for us, we have what essentially amounts to as the original recording, which is really important when you're talking about digital evidence or evidence in general. It has to be that original evidence. So that's the kind of stuff that it allows us to do. it's kind of that next step forward in doing things that we finally caught up with everything that's happened around us. It's that next step forward in doing things right. And we've been stuck in this, I don't want to call it a bad place because it's really not. It's just where we're at. We've landed in this place where we're just not able to have all of this electronic data in a sufficient medium. We've been stuck there for quite a while, and this takes us on to the next level. So that's what it does for us.
Thank you for the explanation. Commissioner Duckham?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
This, I'm a little bit, it's brand new technology, new program. It's expensive.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you very well.
It's a brand new program. It's expensive. Is this going to just make our officers more efficient? It will.
Yes.
Does that mean that the head count isn't nearly as critical if the ones we have are good and efficient because of this program? Is this give us the ability to reduce head count?
No.
No?
It's not going to replace boots on the ground. It just isn't. We've got to have enough police officers. We have, 725 square miles in Jackson County. We've got to have enough police officers to cover that.
What's your head count now? How close are you to having full staff?
We're a ways from it. So right now, people that we have the ability to put out on the street, we have 28.
Where should we be?
Pardon me?
Where should we be?
36.
Okay.
We had the reduction of 4. We were at 40 before. We're at 28 right now. So we have 2 in the police academy that are set to graduate here in another month. We can't effectively count them until they've gone through the proper training with our staff. That'll take us another 5 months to 6 months to get them through their proper training. And then we can count them. So we'll have 2 more. That'll take us up to 30. We have 3, possibly 4 going to the next academy. It'll take them 4.5 months to get through the academy and then 5 months to get out of field training. So we're looking at the better part of a year before we can count those as well. So we plan on sending a couple more to the January Academy to try and get us to where we need to be in terms of our head count. But anytime we lose a person, it takes us a year. It's a solid year to recruit them, bring them in, do the background investigation, the psychological test, and the other statutorily required things, preliminarily speaking, before we can hire them, and then get them into the academy, wait for their graduation, bring them out, and then put them through field training. It takes a year to do that. So every time we lose someone, it's a year.
Are we retaining the new ones for the most part?
We're about 50-50 on retention.
Wow,
With brand new
okay.
ones. Yeah. Last I looked, we had sent 28 through the police academy. We have kept 15 of them.
Okay. I'm a little hesitant on this new technology because Flox was supposed to do us such a great deal. And it's helped you, but it's having issues at the legal level now. It's getting ready possibly to be defunded. And this
What is the, I
Flox-
can't understand you.
Fox camera is getting ready to be defunded possibly at the federal level. They're not passing the legal test, it appears, or they're awful questionable.
Commissioner
This new
Duckham,
stuff is-
Commissioner Duckham, this isn't about Flock. This is a separate
this is about
system.
new
They're not
technology.
tied together, so it's important that that's clarified. They're not the same thing.
No, they're
Okay,
not, but
all
it's
right.
new technology, I'll make sure we're buying something that we'll be able to keep and use. And this, I hope, doesn't enter get into legal quagmire. Thank you.
Chairman Shotwell.
I've had the privilege of talking to other law enforcement around the state of Michigan, whether it also be federal or state. And the use of the Axon technology in agencies that have implemented it have not only made things efficient, but their court case conviction rate increases. And the reason for that is a very simple one. When an officer is investigating a scene in the first hour of an investigation, typically that's when the most evidence is dumped on a scene to the officer. And if he's talking to 4 individuals or more, it's very difficult for him to know exactly who is talking at the exact same time because everybody is excited. All of them have been either directly or indirectly involved in anything from a shooting incident to a car heist to a domestic situation. And the Axon system can separate all those voices, identify those voices, tell you what order they spoke in, and you don't miss a witness. Because when you're standing there talking to more than one person, things get involved, and you don't always can tell. And I know that the Axon system saves somewhere between 50 and 75% of the processing time for, the investigation. And it turns investigations around from having to wait 4.5, 5 hours to 15 minutes to 40 minutes. They're ready to really get out there and find out. And we all know that catching the bad guys is done best within the first 48 hours. And this gives those officers, those gives the investigating people, that gives everybody up and down the chain of command and facilitatory organizations the chance to also assist us. And that's my reasoning and for my support of the Axon system. It's not something that is at all like some of the past technologies as we've been talking about. This just makes our law officers better at their job.
100%. I agree with that.
Okay, one last thing. Probably a lot of the individuals that expressed concern to me weren't even aware that these cameras have already been in use in Jackson County that didn't require authorization from this board. Other law enforcement agencies, I believe Blackman Leone's one of them, and they've had good success with it, you said?
Yes. Yeah, I believe Blackman Township was the first one in our county to use them. Yeah, this is nothing new. It's new to us.
Right.
But it's not new to them. One of the things that's really important too is oftentimes we're having people shop where they're going to work, and they look for these kinds of things. If we don't have the newest stuff that's important, that helps the job, that helps the deputies be able to do their job correctly, and they turn and go somewhere that does.
So
that's another issue.
Sorry to interrupt. Currently in Jackson County, they're using it. Are there other law enforcement agencies already using it?
Yes, there are.
Could you name them?
I know Blackman Township is using it right now.
Yep.
I know the city police is looking into it. They may be already using it as well. So they're the 2 biggest law enforcement agencies in this county along with us.
And they haven't noticed any discrepancies in the reports to where, improper data. In fact, they found it more accurate than what the officers would do on their own. Am I correct?
More
in that?
accurate, yeah. In fact, the prosecutor, I was concerned on what her take was on getting those police reports, and she said that they're fantastic.
Okay. Who? Tony. Oh, Commissioner Bear.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Since this study session, I've been asked by citizens a variety of questions. I've been very supportive of this. A couple of questions I couldn't answer for them that I need to answer for them. You said that the AI software will recognize the people as the officer is doing the interviews at the scene. The AI will recognize the people. Does it recognize them as person 1, 2, and 3? Or does this have facial identification that it knows exactly who these persons are?
So that's a good question. So you have to identify them on the camera. So for instance,
Speaking?
Pardon me?
The officer speaking has to identify them?
Yes, that's correct. So the system's just not going to know that I'm speaking with Tony Bear right now, unless I'm able to get some identification from you, or I say, hello, Mr. Bear, how are you? Then it's going to know that the face that I'm looking at right now that's on camera and the voice that I'm talking with that's also being recorded is Tony Bear. And then once it knows that, then anytime during that interaction, it's going to know that you've spoken to me and when. So that's how that works. I understand what you're saying and how that might be concerning. It doesn't just know that you're Tony Barrow and I walk up to you. It doesn't have that capability.
Okay. Another question. At the scene of the crime, if a store has video of the robbery, does AI access that store's security video by itself? I mean, I believe you said that that the store has to voluntarily give you that access to that?
Yes. So no, AI does not access it by itself. It has to be volunteered by whoever the store is
Okay.
or whatever we go to. It has to be volunteered.
All right, that'll help me answer the questions from some citizens. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other committee member questions? If not, I'd be looking for a motion to recommend approval to send to the full board. That's a motion by you, Commissioner Bear? Yes. And support from Duckham. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you'd please post the vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. That takes us to item F, the reclassification of administrative clerk to crime analyst position.
So these are right after one another, and that was purposely done because had that last one not passed, I wouldn't be asking for this one. So one of the things that Axon does for us is it allows us to free up some time with the Freedom of Information Act requests. Now, some of you have come up to me and said, hey, look, you know, we need the ability to send people or take people into the sheriff's department and fingerprint them for CPLs, purchase permits, whatever the case may be, and I completely agree with that. One of the things that has bogged us down tremendously is Freedom of Information Act requests, specifically with camera systems. What we've had an issue with is, and just to reiterate what I've already told you previously, is 20 to 30 minutes of video translates into about 2.5 to 3 hours of redaction time in order to release that video in the event that somebody wants it. And a lot of people want those videos. Whether it's citizens that are directly influenced by the cases, or it's these YouTubers or whatever they are out there that are investigating stuff on their own, they want these videos. So we get a tremendous amount of requests, as you'll see in a moment through our FOIAs. A lot of that is for the videos that's just bogging down our folks. And we've gone from a situation where we have these communications specialists transcribing reports and things of that nature to, we kind of took that away from them because we wanted all this FOIA stuff to be handled appropriately. And there's a lot of legal ramifications if we don't, and there's all sorts of things that can happen liability-wise to us. So we've had 2 of them working on it pretty continuous. What this Axon platform allows us to do is reduce that time to about 5 minutes. It's absolutely incredible what it does. It's their system, for one thing. It goes right in and blocks everything out that we need to be blocked out to follow federal privacy laws so that we can turn this stuff over. It'll make turnaround time so much incredibly faster. As we analyzed all of this, we recognized that the other thing that we're going to be lacking, and we kind of do lack right now, is this continuity between the services and investigative units that we have in both the road and in corrections. If you recall, I told you about a while ago that we started an investigative unit inside the corrections division for security threat groups. That's been instrumental in allowing us to solve crimes that are happening inside the jail, whether it's smuggling drugs in or it's assaults that are occurring or whatever the case may be, to even being able to turn that information over to other agencies that are investigating instances where we have people in our custody. Because a lot of times what happens is we gain additional information while they're in custody about the crimes they're in there on. So it's been huge. One of the things that we need to do is bridge that gap and have an analyst be involved in that. A lot of agencies are using analysts right now. Again, we're kind of catching up on a few things. One of the folks that we lost here recently was a detective, my most experienced detective, who left the agency. She was the one who put together the triple homicide, and she did that by analytics, and she did that by putting together the case. Now that we've lost her, we've lost that continuity. So what this position will do is essentially elevate a communication specialist to crime analytics. And just like the prosecutor was saying, I've done a slow roll on this already. I've looked into people who may be interested in this position, and I have a young lady, a local young lady here, who would fill this role perfectly for us. So what I've done is I put together all these different things that this position would be able to do, from coordinating the FOIAs that come in, which is a huge job, something that it is really difficult to grasp unless you're right in the middle of it. She would be able to do that, to also coordinating some lean information, that's law enforcement information network that we use to run license plates, to run warrant checks, and do all of these different things, which is something that she has to be familiar with and working in every day. She's intimately familiar with all of these systems, and working with all of them and collaborating with them and using them with the other investigative divisions to put it all together for us to help us have a better package. I think this is huge for us. I think this will make a big deal impact on the Jackson community, law enforcement in particular, specifically with us, with our investigative division on both sides of the house, in both the corrections division and on the road division. But it's also going to help a lot of the other agencies too. I think the impact will be felt immediately, and I think it will be long lasting. So I put this package together, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have for this.
So the cost increase is $15,462.72. But because of what we talked about in the prior issue of you being down officers right now, you're not coming asking for additional money because you're well within your budget right now because you're understaffed. Am I
Yes,
correct in
that's
saying that?
correct.
Okay. Committee members, any other questions? Commissioner Bear.
Thank you. Sheriff, your staff report, first paragraph is motion requested, and the last paragraph is recommendation. They're not quite the same wording. Which wording do you wish us to make a motion on and pass?
What I would like a motion on to pass is the elevation of a communication specialist to crime analyst.
Okay. Now I know which specific paragraph you're referring to. Thank you.
Okay, yes, sir.
Any other committee member questions? If not, be looking for a motion to forward to the full board with recommendation of approval. Moved by Bear. Supported by Walls. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Passes unanimously. And that takes us to your semi-annual report.
Excellent. So I do not have it on my screen here, so I'll just kind of walk it through for you. I do have a printout, so if you could go to the next page, it's the organizational chart, something that we've already talked about on how many deputies we have currently. Can you go to the next page? So this has not changed since last year. Organizationally speaking, of course, we're down a few deputies, and we've already spoken about that. Next page. this explains it a little bit more in detail. We have school resource deputies, 5 in Northwest Hanover, Western, Vandercook, and Grass Lake schools. Our Explorer program is doing excellent. I'm not going to touch on all of these. Court security continues to be a success. We added a couple of dive team members. Mounted and reserve divisions are doing very well too. You can skip on down to the next one. This just breaks it down for you in terms of all of our contracts. I know that was something that you folks wanted to see the last time that we spoke. So it gives you an idea exactly who we have and where we have them. And then the next paragraph, or excuse me, page, some of our achievements. One of the things that I'm very happy about is the new Glock handguns, the Model 45. I have mine on today. The Aimpoint sights, everybody loves them. I appreciate the board passing that and allowing us to purchase those. Of course, none of this is really a whole lot different. On patrol, we're talking about some of the things that I've already spoke with you in terms of who we're hiring, how we're hiring, and putting them through, and what the case is. Obviously, a little bit of that has changed since the last time we submitted this. We're now sending 3 to the Washtenaw Academy and not 2 to the Lansing Academy. So just a little bit of numerical change because of one thing or another and trying to get it all done. Very happy with the next page, please. Sorry. Very happy with the Tech 84 body scanner. We just caught additional drugs trying to be smuggled in this past weekend. That's worked out very well for us. I believe overdoses are going to be down dramatically in the jail as a result of that. You can see we hired 5 new corrections deputies. For a fainting moment, we were completely staffed inside of the corrections division. It lasted about 30 days until someone left again. The nicotine pouches, we began implementing them. This was something that was important when we spoke with New Vision to help folks that come in that are addicted to drugs. It gives them the ability to have a choice to be able to utilize this during the course of their stay. The Building Security Committee, I just want to touch on that too real quickly. A lot of good things have come from that. As a result of that, we've changed our security and we've demanded that anybody who's entering into the jail be wanded, and anybody who comes in now is run through the Tech 84. When I say they come in as inmates, not just general people. They come in and run through the Tech 84 body scanner, which is dramatically reduced, again, our problems inside the jail. Next paragraph. I shouldn't say paragraph, page. Thank you. You read my mind. Community engagement. I'm not going to go through all of that, but you can see that we're heavily involved in the community. We've been doing a tremendous amount of work with our Strive team and our efforts to make sure our community understands our mission and our goals, and I believe that's paid off. Next page. Kind of our major incidents. Happy to report this year, and I got to knock on wood while I say this, 0 homicides, which is fantastic. Only 1 pursuit, but we've had 6 fatal accidents. JNet Investigations, they continue to do excellent work, and I'm very proud of the work that they've done. We have 1 deputy assigned to there and 1 clerical staff that's inside of JNet. It's paid strictly by state grants. Next page. Some of our statistics. We talked a little bit about this again. You can see our FOIA requests, 893 that we have 2 ladies that have been working on. I believe that's going to dramatically change how we do business with this new platform. You can see the miles we've driven, the calls for service, about where we've been in the last couple of years. They're a little bit down because of the reduction of staff, but still on task and on point from where we've been. Next page. This first complaint is a CSAM complaint, which is child sexually abusive material. And the reason why that is such a huge deal, obviously you can read through that, but this was surface level, something else. And our deputies dug into that, and that was what allowed this case to come to fruition and be put together. And this is a big deal case. Criminal sexual conduct in the first degree on children is huge, and it's something that we emphasize through our detectives and deputies. And of course, everybody knows about the armed robbery. We had discussion about that. I think almost every one of you has spoken with me about that in Liberty Township. And then a break-in at a solar farm in Parma Township. Next page. Our corrections statistics are on point from where they have been in the last couple of years. Not a lot's changed. You can see that staff assaults are a little high, 7 already this year. That's significant. And we've talked about the rationale and reasoning behind all of that. Next page. Major incidents, a suicide attempt out on Chanter Road. We don't see that very often on Chanter Road. It's typically in the Wesley facility. But you can see it was an attempt and not a successful suicide. The new arrests that are coming in and the things that we're finding on that body scanner are absolutely amazing. And the Corrections Division has really kind of gotten their eye on that and really figured out how to utilize that scanner and be able to pick up on those little anomalies that are inside there and hone in on it. And we told you about the lightning strike here in a briefing that I've sent out on Chanter Road. It was very challenging for a while. We put some people on overtime to handle the deficiencies that we had because of the technology, and everything worked out just fine. I'm happy to report no major incidents at all from that. We continue to work on it. So some of the challenges that we're looking at. Retention. And we've talked about that already. Retention is going to continue to be a challenge for us. We know that in talking with the deputies. Securing funding. We didn't get the funding that I thought we were going to get, or that I hoped that we would get through the state. It was taken out of the budget the very last day of negotiations. And frankly, Kathy Schmaltz was blindsided by that. She believed that that was going to be included into it, and unfortunately it was taken out. So we're still hopeful that the federal government will give us additional funding. I'm told upwards of $3 million. I requested $5 million for the booking center. We'll see what happens there. But that's on a good path too. I don't want to jinx it because we felt like the state was in a good position as well. I've talked with a couple of other folks who put in these funding requests, and we're going on, this is our 3rd year. They said typically it takes upwards of 4 or 5 years to get anything through the state. So we're on that trajectory, and we got awful close this year. So I'm hopeful that we'll put in for it again and just keep putting in for it. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to secure some funding from the state and federal governments here in the next year or two, but that continues to be a challenge for us. We'll need a new transport van. I explained that to you already. And we got to upgrade the camera system. A lot of those problems were evident, if you will, when we had the lightning strike. And of course, the renewing of the Axon contract. And last page, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Committee members, any questions? Commissioner Bear?
Not a question, just a thank you to you and your staff for what you do. This community would be in a big mess without you. So we appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments? What's that? Commissioner Snow?
It's becoming a interesting thing to see on Facebook around the country that flock cameras are being taken down by the citizens. And I know that we've had one that's come down. There's been a couple in accidents. So what can we do to assure the public we're not doing things outside the scope of what a flat camera should be doing. I mean, people are thinking like with this AI that it's going to be surveillance, and all we're doing is taking license plate pictures. In fact, that's the only thing in the last, well, besides the 911 radios, that I've had constituents ask me about.
So what is happening right now is a tremendous amount of misinformation. Now, you folks listen to the presentation that I've given on what flat cameras really are. They are nothing more than a license plate reader. They're nothing more than a body camera on a cop. They're only recording, they're not even that. They're only recording the license plate on a vehicle and what the vehicle looks like. That's it. And we keep them for 30 days and then they're dumped. That's it. We don't do anything more with them. You know, I'm not a computer guru, all right? And one of the things I want to tell you is I forgot you were there, Ray, and I was addressing everyone on this side of the room, and I didn't look over there, and I apologize for that. But one of the things that's really important is they put out these misinformation bots, right? They talk about all sorts of goofy things that are happening with these cameras. They're absolutely untrue. And if any of it were remotely true, it'd be a huge investigation on them, right? So I'm not going to speak to everything that's happening around the country. I can tell you that I don't believe any of it, but what I will tell you is that what is happening here is nothing like what they're reporting. We have those license plate readers. They've solved tremendous crime. In fact, you heard me talking about the homicide, the triple homicide. That was solved with those license plate reader cameras. We would not have gotten those 3 people in custody if it hadn't been for those license plate reader cameras. There's been break-ins and safe crackings that have occurred at local banks and other financial institutions that were solved by those license plate reader cameras that would have never been solved. And it's really important to understand that. And it's really important to understand this too. We're not the only ones in law enforcement that are having a difficult time with retention. We have a probably the worst time with it, but everybody's having a hard time with it. These are helping us fill those gaps. It's helping us solve crime. It's helping us keep people safe. It's not stuff that we're using to spy on people. I could care less. And I certainly don't have the time with the depleted staff to try and figure out where people are going or what they're doing. I could care less what they're doing and what's going on,
And-
as long as
and
they're
let
not
me-
committing crimes.
And I'm not saying any of this is accurate, but what I guess I am trying to say is what are we doing to get to the public so that those questions are answered? I mean, I may talk to a dozen people in a week about things like this, and I know all the things that you talked about, and I support the use of the flat cameras. But if it's coming from me, or it's coming from you, I hope that, we can expand the knowledge there with better communication. I don't know if, and we can take this offline, but that's been, when I saw that camera, I think it was on Detman, that was taken down, not hit, but taken down, and somebody took a picture of it and posted it. I think that's a time where we really need to think about what more do we need to do.
Well, the latest, and I'm going to call it what it is, the latest fake news on these things is that there's some sort of really expensive material that's inside of it that's allowing them to operate to try and encourage people to take them down. I can tell you this, it's a felony, and the chances are we're going to find you if you've done it. So if we do, you're going to be charged and prosecuted to the limit of the law in those instances. But I will say this, the Michigan Sheriff's Association has put out a briefing about all of the fake news that has come out about flock cameras and has asked us to put together a collective statement about what the cameras have been used for, the things that they have been done, that have been done with them, and exactly not what is being reported about them, which is all fictitious. So they're putting together that list and that information, and I expect they're going to have that publicized here within the next couple of weeks. The other thing that's important too is remember that they're a private organization. I expect them to step into the arena a little bit more and to fight this off. I think the days of bad news not being addressed is the best way of handling it are long gone. I think now you have to look at this information, you have to say, okay, look, the only way that we're going to get over this is to combat it with true stories. So that's what we're going to have to do. And in fact, we're compiling information right now on all of that to try and make sure that the public understands, like, all of this stuff is ridiculous nonsense. It's not even close to being accurate. So we're putting that stuff together. We'll post it on our social media platform and we'll do the different things that we need to do. But the reality of it is we have to all understand that this is just fake news bots that are out there attacking it for unscrupulous reasons. And I gotta question the people that are involved in that, the fake news stuff, and what their criminal intent is. That makes me a little nervous. So I think we just have to continuously pump out the information. But again, people look at it at surface level and they see all of this information that's being pumped out there and they believe what they want to believe. We'll do the best that we can to make sure that they understand it, but it's a viable law enforcement tool. And I'm hopeful that, that people will recognize that once they see it.
Thank you.
Just one last thing, Sheriff, if I may, something we haven't touched on, and it would go directly to some of Commissioner Snell's concerns. We do currently have a county administration that sits down with you, I believe, quarterly, and is doing somewhat of an audit, as I understand, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So what I was asking that individual, and they couldn't give me is it possible, obviously active investigation, stuff like that, where you got sensitive material, you couldn't, but that there is an access list and it shows each individual that accessed it and the rationale as to why. Because I feel being as transparent with the community as possible and having that list of saying, here is the list of the times we access these cameras, here's why. It gives people a little more, I guess, support of it. Maybe not. You know, I think people that have hardcore Fourth Amendment concerns, you're probably never going to convince them, right? But I understand that it does help solve crimes. I think what we need to do is that the community sees that this is what we're doing, this is why, this is the officer that did it, and it alleviates some of the concerns that people are being spied on, that somebody has some nefarious reason to access the camera system. Is that something we could do? Could we get a list like that? Or is that something that would not be legal?
That may compromise open investigations. I would be hesitant to want to release something like that. You know, it's not difficult to, let me get back with you before I say
Okay.
anything more. It's not difficult to produce a list. That is not hard. It's just a couple of keystrokes. What I worry about, like I say, is putting that out there and then the bad guys looking at it and knowing what we're doing. Because oftentimes, remember this, oftentimes it doesn't just solve a crime, right? It just points us in the right direction. So we get the information and then we have to work the case. You know, it starts us off in a much better spot, but it doesn't give us, you know, it doesn't give us the case. We have to still work it. So I'd hate to compromise that So I want to talk with my detectives and I want to talk with my staff to make sure that that would be something appropriate. But I'll certainly get back
Maybe we
with
can
you and
talk about it the next elected officials meeting after you get with your staff. And
Yeah, absolutely. That would be perfect.
I appreciate it, and thanks for fielding these questions, because I do feel it's important that the public knows,
I agree.
especially on the AI plan, that it has nothing to do with the flock cameras. They are separate.
Correct.
Because I had a lot of people reach out to me, and they didn't seem to understand that, and it's important that the community knows that. So thank you very much. Be looking for a motion to receive the report.
So moved.
Moved by Bear. Supported by Walls. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, passed unanimously. Thank you, and thank you for your department's work. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Takes us to the 911 quarterly report with Jason. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody. So on the first page, we go through how many FOIAs we've done so far year to date, and some of the trainings that we continue to send people to. And one of the trainings that we've been sending at least now, I think it's 9 dispatchers, is a mental health training put on by Wayne State University and Lifeways. It's not on this because it's not SNC approved as of yet, but we are trying to get that approved for all dispatchers to go. It's been very helpful to understand the differences and how mental health can look like other sorts of anxiety and drug overdose, things of that nature. So very beneficial. We did do a walkthrough at the courthouse for our CRG grant. That was the state grant we received. And then again, the mental health meetings with Lifeways and Wayne State. For a grant opportunity, total of 6 of our dispatchers gone, so, and then myself and the deputy director as well. And the next page after that is the total activities for FOIAs. As you can see, the dispatch is at 34.39% of all FOIAs here in Jackson County, not including the sheriff. And next page is just the percentage of wirelines, wireless, VoIP, SMS texting. So far, when I pulled this report, 646 incoming text messages and 103 outgoing text messages. Average ring time is 5.6 seconds, which is well below the 6-second rule. Average talk time is 94 seconds. Total calls for service through all the departments is 80,000. I have not showed you this one in a while, but this is the busiest hours. As you can tell, 17th, 18th of July 3rd was the busiest. As of this morning, from 12 to 6:30, the dispatchers took 304 calls. And then the next page is time of day for the busiest calls for law enforcement. And there is, unfortunately, a number that's kind of you can't see in there. And also the 15 calls yeared compared to the previous years. The one column is the total. First column is the last year, and then 2026 column next to it. And time of day for the fire, busiest time for fire calls. And then also the calls for service that we use, all the departments in Jackson County and out in the surrounding counties. Any questions on that?
Committee members, any questions?
And then the next page is just the busiest radios. I wanted to show you guys that. I haven't showed that since last year. It's just a graph of how many times they pushed the PTT button on the radios for the different months, all the way to July. So law enforcement being the busiest radio. They push it about close to 100,000 times, 90,000 to 100,000 a month. That's it.
Report. Committee members, any questions? Commissioner Shot, or Chairman Shotwell, excuse me.
Hey, Jason. How is your staff Are you fully staffed? Are you, I mean, are you like other law enforcement where you're having a constant turnover? How are we doing?
So we have 2 openings right now. We've had a couple people that's left because of personal problems. I won't go into detail on that, but very sad to see those people lose those people. But like any other dispatch center, we are in the same boat as them as well. Retention's very hard. It takes 20 weeks to train somebody, and it might be the 15th week that we find out they can't do the job, and we have to let them go. Sometimes it's earlier than that, but yes, we got 2 openings at this time.
What does it take to become a 911 operator?
So you need a high school diploma, and then most of it's all on-job training for about 20 weeks, and then the mandatory trainings that the state mandates us to, every dispatch to go through every 24 months, and then 24 months after that for CEs.
And there was discussion that the 911 system was going to be using more and more advanced technology and that our staff was going to be actually looking at visual scenes at the time of incident. Have we moved to that yet, where they're actually looking through the cameras at what's going on to help assess what needs to be done?
Yeah, so we do have the videos to dispatch using Prepare Live. I think we've only had 1 or 2 the people that wanted to share it. It's their choice to share that with the dispatch. I think last year we had 2, so I think the public's not really apt to give those permissions for us to see their cameras, which I totally agree with. It's totally up to them. We do a lot more texting. Trying to pass the word about texting is more and more right now. I just actually had a conversation with the library director. They want to know how to text 911 instead of making that phone call. We had a long conversation on that. So I'm actually going on the 15th to the manager's meeting to talk about texting and videos and stuff like that. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No other questions? I'd be looking for a motion to receive the report. Moved by Williams, supported by Bear. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. Thank you. Have a great day. Takes us to item I, the Public Defender Quarterly Report. Good morning.
Maybe unlike my colleagues from the sheriff's office and the prosecutor's office, I don't really have anything to ask for. We are waiting on approval of a contract for an assigned council coordinator. That's a position that is necessary for the operations of our office in order to really, as best we can, be as ethical as we can be and should be when we decide which cases we can keep and which cases have to go out of our office for ethical conflict purposes. There's an opinion from the State Bar that says I, as the appointing authority, shouldn't be picking the attorney for somebody who we can't directly represent. So we're looking to follow that opinion by having an assigned council coordinator added to our overall operations. We've selected an individual. We went through a process to recruit, vet, and select people. We've selected an individual, drafted a contract, and that's going back and forth between the administrator's office and mine, and to include Michael Karabatsos in that. So,
Committee members, any questions? How's your staffing level right now? I'll come right to you.
pretty great. I have to say, we've recruited a couple of new attorneys one at the misdemeanor level, one at the felony level. The one at the felony level brings about 25 years of experience. Sam Bolero is his name, and they're both adapting very well. So yeah, we're trending upward, I think.
Okay.
Which is great.
Commissioner Williams, you're good? That was your question. All right. Have you had nothing else to add?
I could contextualize flock cameras if anybody's interested in that ongoing discussion.
Go ahead, open that can of worms again. Why not?
Okay. Yay? Nay?
If you want to, go ahead.
I mean, well, just for everybody's, information, there's a warrant called a geofence warrant, which means police can go get a warrant to ping every cell tower to show where you were with your phone. The presumption is you are where your phone is. Presumption on flock cameras is you are where your car is. There's a case that allows the police to say, if the car is registered to you, we can presume that you're the driver. That's a Kansas versus Glover from 2020. So just recently in 2026, a couple of months ago, the Supreme Court said you can't use cell phone towers to say where Kevin Rogers is based on where Kevin Rogers' phone is. That is an unconstitutional search of the comings and goings of Kevin Rogers. And flock cameras operate in very much the same way. They allow the police to say where you are, who you are, what you're doing. Where you go to the pharmacy. Did you go to the pharmacy and then the urologist, Kevin? Well, yeah, I did. Well, why should the police get to know that? So while it is a useful tool, I do think it needs to be checked against your right to be free in your comings and goings, free from the intrusion of the government against that by agencies that are in the business of ferreting out crime. Because once you put on those blinders and just start chasing those rabbits, that's all you see.
And you're speaking on the court case, and that was ruling it was a violation of their Fourth Amendment rights, correct?
Yeah, that's Chatry. It was just in January of
I
2020.
just read about it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's I'm sorry, June 2026.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, thank you for your outlook on it.
thank you.
Be looking, Commissioner Duckham. We got a lot of items, so we don't want to go too off topic here. Okay.
Yeah, we all here support the law. But
Certainly.
trust us doesn't cut it anymore. Just trust us where everything's okay. People are very skeptical out in the street of that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be brief. So based off of your interpretation of that, I'm curious as to how is the evidence of using the flock cameras then admissible in court if it's considered unconstitutional? Or am I misunderstanding
Okay.
what you said?
No, I probably didn't compartmentalize it well enough. The Supreme Court case is about your location based on cell phone use.
So it's
Flock-
not the use of
flock
the
camera
camera,
just
it's
reads your
the
tags.
location.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
So it's not so much the camera's usage, but I guess maybe it is, but just more specifically the location. So they can't necessarily say because my cell phone is across the street and I'm around the corner. I'm just trying to track what you said. I'm sorry.
Right, I think, and I don't think I've explained it well enough. The Supreme Court case, Chatry, is about your cell phone. Getting a warrant to use cell phone towers to say where you are based on where your cell phone is. And the presumption is Kevin is with Kevin's cell phone.
Right.
The police are allowed to presume Kevin is driving Kevin's car. And you can't even get a warrant to track me based on my cell phone. You don't even need a warrant to track Kevin using flock cameras. You can just look at the flock cameras and say Kevin's license plate was in location A, B, C, and D.
Okay, without opening the camera warrants, I'll stop there and I'll contact you.
Follow the courts above us.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's been a great quarter at the Public Defender's Office.
Good to
Staffing is
hearing that you're staffed appropriately.
Yeah, we're
getting
getting
there anyways. Be looking for a motion to receive the report. Moved by Duckham, supported by Williams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that passes unanimously. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Takes us to item J, the animal shelter reorganization position reclassification. Good morning. Lydia.
Morning. I know you all have a busy schedule this morning, so I'll try to be brief. In 2019, we had about 5 full-time employees at the animal shelter. And over the years, as we've seen the need for new staff grow, we filled in those positions along the way over the last several years. What we failed to do during that time is to put anyone in any leadership positions. So we have a director of the animal shelter and then drop down everybody else. I think it'd be much more beneficial for operations, for retaining staff, and just a good transition of the flow of everything that's happening at the shelter to have a few people, or a couple people in this case, to take leadership roles. So we have kennel attendants reporting to the lead attendant and animal control officers reporting to the lead animal control officer. That is my request here today.
Committee members, any questions? And you've got this handled all through your current budget. You're
I'm
not-
sorry, yes.
Yes.
Yes, the increase is a total of $11,771.76, which is covered under the animal shelter budget. We're not asking for any funds from the general fund or anything like that.
Thank you. Commissioner Bear? That answered your question? Wonderful. All right. Be looking for a motion of recommendation of approval to forward to the full board. Moved by Bear, supported by Williams. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you could please post the vote. Oh, you waiting on? Are you a yes or a no, Commissioner Duckham?
Yes.
He's a yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Lydia.
great day.
Have a great day.
You too.
Takes us to item K, the Circuit Court Family Probate Court Judicial Secretary, full-time employee request. I see Mr. Stressman here. I also see Judge Jordan. Welcome. Good morning.
All right, so according to the paperwork, which I think is probably on the screen right now, we are seeking a.
Excuse me, Judge, will you just go to the microphone so you're on record?
Yeah,
Thank you.
So we are seeking the addition of a full-time employee and a judicial secretary. Essentially, we have 5 judges, 4 circuit judges, 1 probate judge. We have 4 judicial secretaries who are full-time. This has worked for a few years, but because of the case number increases, it is starting to become very confusing and overwhelming for the 4 secretaries who are serving 5 judges. So we are seeking to add that position. And just some of the numbers I wanted to highlight is there has been a recent judicial workload study that has deemed that the Jackson County Circuit Court is operating at approximately 139% of a recommended judicial workload, which means that each judge is doing more than one judge's job, which then passes down obviously to our support staff. Our secretaries are doing more work and they're serving more than one judge. So while we understand that adding a couple extra judges and a couple extra staffs is probably not something that's feasible, this is something that would really be of assistance to reduce some confusion and some really large workloads. The money part, I will let Jake answer any specific questions that you have, but essentially this request has been made possible by our circuit court administration staff, recognizing that there are some positions that can be moved over to be funded fully by the child care fund, which is going to result in a savings to the county. So this position isn't actually asking for more because we've identified savings in excess of what we're requesting today.
Okay, and it's my understanding that every judge by law actually is entitled to a secretary. Someone told me that. Is that correct?
I have also heard that, and I have not had a chance to research it. Were you ever able to confirm that?
It's specifically for district court.
Oh, okay.
Not circuit court.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
Well,
full transparency, it
yeah.
doesn't necessarily apply to us.
I appreciate the explanation. Committee members, any questions? Commissioner Bear.
Thank you. Reading the financial breakdown here. Annual cost, $75,000. You talk about a savings of $327,000. Walk me through that. How does that happen? And what's the source of this funding?
So there are 3 positions in the juvenile probation department that are going to be moved to the child care fund at a reimbursable rate of 75%. 2 of those positions were reimbursed at 50%. 1 was reimbursed at 0%. So now all 3 are going to be reimbursed at 75%.
But the source of funding for this is what?
The source of funding is going to be the savings to the county in excess of $300,000 in the next 16 months.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the explanation. Committee members, any other questions? If not, be looking for a motion to recommend approval to be sent to the full board.
So moved.
Moved by Duckham, supported by Walls. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, if you could please post the vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You as well.
Takes us to item L, Finance. Jackson County Department of Transportation Financial Report, June 30th, 2026. So good morning, Cecilia.
Good morning.
And Angie, I see sneaking up there.
All right, so yes, this is going over their June 30th, 2026 financial statements. One thing I just would point out, if you look at the line in the revenues under federal grant safety, and then it has hazard safety, there's like almost $580,000 more than budget. But that also correlates to, on page 2, the increase in the expenditures also. So we have more revenue, but we also have more expenditures, so it kind of just works itself out. The rest of the things on the financial statements are pretty much where we would expect them to be at this time of year. So are there any questions that anyone has?
Committee members, any questions? Seeing none, I'd be looking for a motion to receive the report. Moved by Bear, supported by Williams. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. Takes us now to the Jackson County Department of Transportation Budget Amendment.
All right, so yes, this is their mid-year budget amendment for the JCDOT. As a reminder, the original budget was set up about this time last year. Apologize. It's allergies, I tell you. So we're at a point where we need to go ahead and just adjust for the final contracts that we have in place. The biggest decrease on the original budget is in their federal grants of like right around $3.8 million on the revenue side. And there's also a decrease in the primary road, about $2.9 million on their budget. So are there any other questions on this? Those
Can you
are the
say that
biggest
one
changes.
last time? What's under,
Apologize.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. It's
It's
my
okay.
fault.
It doesn't help that I have allergies, but go ahead.
Amount and what is it again?
Okay, so in the federal grants for the revenue, we are decreasing the original budget by $3.8 million on the revenue side. In order for the budget to balance, we are also decreasing the primary road about $2.9 million. And between the other, there's some small increases in some revenues. And then there's some small decreases. But at the end of the day, those are the biggest changes.
So we're losing that amount of money to, okay, thank you. Can you explain that? That makes me nervous.
So every year, construction projects don't go as planned, or they go earlier or later. So it's just us moving projects into the correct year.
Okay,
So when we get grants, we look out 2 years. We plan on having them built during that budget year. A lot of these are moving to next year.
I got it. Thank you very much for that explanation. Committee members, are there any other questions? If not, be looking for a motion of recommendation of approval to be forwarded to the full board.
So moved.
Moved by Duckham and supported by Bear. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, that passes unanimously, and that takes us to the Jackson County Department of Transportation, Cambria Drive, private to public road request.
So we are bringing this to you before the project goes to get support from the board, because per the policy, it has to be built to county standards for us to bring it to you to accept it as a private road becoming a public road. And the neighborhood wants to know that's supported before they put all the money into it. So it's planned to have a crush and shape 3.5-inch overlay. JCDOT will be doing the work, so it will be up to our standard. So we're just asking the board to support that, so that when it's complete and we bring it to you for that acceptance, it's approved.
So you'll be doing the work, but those residents will be paying, or the
Yep,
township will be paying? What?
So the residents are paying the township a special assessment, 100% funded by them. JCDOT has no.
Special Assessment District, okay. Commissioner Bear.
Thank you. When this becomes a public road instead of a private road, Jackson County is going to have to do the snow removal on it. You're going to have to do the maintenance on it. So the county's taking on a liability, they're taking on extra costs. What's the benefit to the county? What's the benefit to the rest of the citizens to change this from a private to a public road?
It would be added to our road network and we'd get state funding for it.
Your state funding would cover the additional cost of your snow removal?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Commissioner Walls.
I'm just wondering how much in terms of miles, is it 0.5 miles? Is it a mile long? Is it 5 miles long?
It's short because it's only 600 and some tons. Oh, wait. Let me look. It's in our, it should be in our monthly on our private road. Oh, no, it's not a public road. It won't be there. It's short. I don't even think it's a half.
It's short and it doesn't connect to any
No,
other
it's a
road.
residential
It's a
street.
run through off of Deering, right? If I'm looking at this right?
Yeah, the map.
Between McCain and King Road?
Yep, the
Is
map.
it a future subdivision or something like that?
It's.
Or
it's
it
an
is a current one?
It's existing, yeah. There's
Okay.
15 residents, I think, on it. I can get you the exact length, but it's short.
What's the total mileage that Jackson County has to take care of paved roads currently?
Of paved roads currently. Well, we say we to maintain 1,600-ish. We have 200 and some gravel. I can email you that exact number. I
Thank
don't
you.
know the exact number of paved miles because we've had townships pave their gravels. So like Spring Arbor, Summit, those mileages came off our, so I don't remember them exactly, but I can get it. We have it in a
Please do, thank
book,
you.
yeah.
Commissioner Duckham.
Good morning, Angela.
Good morning.
Don't you, when we would submit this extra mileage to the state of Michigan, they would up our money to maintain it. So we're not doing it for nothing. We're going to get paid for it, but probably after the fact that we do the maintenance. But you are getting paid up front for doing the road construction, correct?
The road construction's being 100% paid by the township/residents. And then we will bring it to you guys before the end of the year to get it onto the next certification cycle.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if there's no other questions, I'd be looking for a motion to forward this to the full board with recommendation of
moved.
approval. Moved by Duckham, supported by Bear. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. And that takes us to your monthly report.
Margie, I can get you that number after the meeting. I have it in email. I just remembered. So I'll get it to you. Sorry. It bothers me. I can't remember the exact number, but I'll get it. All right. So the next item is our monthly report. So our grant projects, the sign safety project is complete. You won't see that on our monthly updates anymore. Chip sealing. So our chip seal program this year was a success. I'm very, very, very proud of my team this year. If you've gotten to go out and drive any of the roads, they look 110% better than they have in the past. The certification program took them through this winter that I talked about last month, and the supervision on the projects, the teamwork, the communication, everything was by far the best season we've had with chip seal. So get out there and drive them. Pictures don't do them justice. Everything was on point with it. So I'll just, if you have questions, basically the township projects, the chip seal's complete. We're starting fog today, as long as it looks like the weather's done. So today, they estimate the fog will take about 9 to 10 days to complete. Once that's all complete, then we'll go back into paving. Drop dead date to start paving again is August 24th. So if fog gets delayed at all, we'll have to balance it because we have to start paving August 24th to get the rest of our paving done for the season. The paving that we have with our crews this season left is some project roads that are in here saying they have to pave, and then a handful of the safety patches. Margie's Francisco is one of them that we have to complete. So Airport Road, the middle of this week, they should start daytime milling and then paving, nighttime paving. The signal at Boardman will go live probably tomorrow, but I'll say the middle of this week. And it will not, I repeat, will not have the left turn phase on yet. It'll just have the one left turn until the pavement marking is complete, which has to happen after paving. So when the paving is done on Airport, they'll paint everything. Then we can turn the dual left turn phase on there at Boardman. Bridges are going well. Albion's beams were set last Monday. Skip over all the locals. If you have questions, I can try to answer them.
Just one quick one. How is the Napoleon Road millage projects? Are they complete and works? What's going on?
They're still paving in there.
Still paving.
Yeah.
Okay.
For our Q alerts as of the July, we had received 4,830 Q alerts this year. We've closed 4,200 Q alerts, so that's 553 open. 57% of our Q alerts this year have been potholes, which I know is not a shocker. But as the years go on and the money starts flowing in, those should start going down. So that's exciting to track. For our contracted patching crews, they've placed over 1,500 tons of material for us with over 2,200 labor hours. And Leone Township is the highest with 308 tons. The next slide just shows our patching and how much material we've put into potholes versus paving. So we could have paved 3.08 miles so far this year with our pothole filling. And then the last slide that I want to highlight is the very last one, our MTF. So I'm tracking our monthly income like I told you I would, and it has gone up again this month. So we're now 141,000 higher than what we had projected. So almost a mile of paving. But I'll keep reporting it, and those numbers should keep going up tremendously as long as the money comes in like they say. Fingers crossed.
Okay. Commissioner Duckham.
How are you doing on your head count?
So we have, I think, 3 or 4 mechanic offers out right now. If they accept, we'll be fully staffed for mechanics, which is the first time since I've worked at JCDOT. And then I think we're 1 operator down. So the best we've been.
It shows. Yeah, thank you. You're doing a
Thank
good
you.
job.
Yeah, they do.
Just one question I had brought up with you in the past, and prior to that, I didn't think I was going to have the township board support on it out there in Leone, but it sounds like that may have changed. There's some residents and some neighborhood subdivisions that want to explore the special assessment option to get their local roads done. So what I'm asking is it possible if I had neighborhood meeting that I know the county can't do it. It has to be an initiative from the township, but we could meet with these individuals and give them a potential estimated cost. I know you couldn't give it exact because I do have residents in 2 specific subdivisions now that are interested in it, and they just want to know the X's and O's before whether they would go out and do the petition to do it. So is that possible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. I'll
email
get
and
with
we
you
can-
on that and try to give like maybe a couple weeks notice to residents and just have an informal meeting in here.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
If not, be looking for a motion to receive the report. Moved by Bear, supported by Williams. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. Thanks a lot for all the information. It's good to hear that roads are getting done.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to 5A, looking for a motion to pay the claims.
So moved.
Moved by Duckham, supported by Williams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. Goes to item 5B, other minutes. There looks to be some meeting minutes there you are welcome to view. And takes us to our second opportunity for public comment. Is there any public comment? Are you sure? Oh, I gotta say it 2 more times. Any public comment? Last chance for public comment. Okay. Public comments closed. We move on to committee member comments. Are there any committee member comments? Seeing none, meeting's adjourned.